Welcome back to the Cinema Crew Point of View. And I'm back with the Comic Cinema Crew. And this week we're here to talk about Dave's favorite movie of the year, Morbius. and,
So I'm
we're
afraid I
going
might have the highest rating here, but
we're going to spoil this thing up, down, left, right, in, and out as we get into this content that we love to bring you on this live show. Morbius came out a week ago from now, so we decided to give it a week, let people watch it, take it in, and then come and give our full spoiler review. So right out the box, gentlemen, right out the box, I'll say, Maine just watched Morbius, so he's coming fresh,
Literally, yeah,
almost like a
super
fresh out of
fresh.
theater review.
Minutes
So
ago,
I
yeah,
actually like that. And
yeah.
then we got Dave who saw it last week, and I saw the opening night. So we're on to that. So guys, just a quick overview. What would you, especially you, man? What was your thoughts of it right out of watching it right now?
I thought, me loving vampire stuff. It was a cool vampire movie, but I feel like they rushed some stuff a little bit. Of course, that it's a hour, and some change, hour and 30 minutes some change. And lately, the movies we've been watching have been 2-3 hours, right? So, it's compared to the other movies I've seen recently, it kind of felt rushed a little bit. But from what I've seen, like some of the features and everything, and some of the presentation, wasn't that bad to me. I just have some thoughts about the pacing as well.
Okay. And man, real quick, 'cause I know you're a movie guy like me. So did it? It reminded me a lot of like '90s vampires movies. A little bit.
Yes, it did.
The
Interview with the
way,
Vampire.
yeah.
Yeah.
What's the other one? Lost Boys. No, not Lost Boys. There's another one, but it's a bunch of those like '90s vampires movies around like that Buffy era and stuff like that. They came out. It reminded me a lot of it,
Yeah.
even how they made them look.
I
But,
even got a Once Bitten. That was a Snap movie, but one of those kind of vibes at some points too. So yeah, I definitely agree with that too.
yeah,
It had that vibe to it.
yeah. Dave, what'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely had a vampire movie feel. I wasn't really a big vampire guy growing up or coming up. But for Morbius, I would be. However, yeah, it did. I agree with you guys. It did have that. I had like a mid '90s vibe, early 2000s vampire vibe, like right before Twilight type shit. The look and everything felt like it was that kind of a movie too. So yeah, I don't know if that was what they were going for, but if they did, then that's a plus for them.
I don't know either. Now, comic wise, Dave, I know you're a comic book movie fan, like we all are, but this, what bothered me was I felt more like the earlier comic book movies, like before the MCU, kind of got to play like those earlier, like Fantastic Four movies or Daredevil movies,
Mm-hmm.
or movie, I should say, Elektra, like those type of, like it felt
We'll
like
call
it
those
was,
the practice rounds. Yeah.
yeah, it was a bunch of like stuff like that. That I felt. And so yeah, for me overall though, I didn't go in with high expectations, which might have been a good thing for me, right? Because I wasn't with high expectations. But I still have my problems. So let's get right into it. And I don't even know where to go with this movie because I was just like so disappointed. But plot, man. What do you feel about the plot of the movie?
I think that it was more some stuff that we've probably, excuse me, forgive me. I got my daughter in the background.
Oh, she's a part of the crew, man.
Okay, right. I keep forgetting. Man. She's part of the crew.
Yeah.
But I felt like the plot was, it was simple to me. Guy has issue. Guy wants to solve issue. Guy does things. Things happen in the movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
So from that point of view, I thought it was solid. It's a formula, and I understand that. I think that it worked for this movie, but I think there were also some plot points that just didn't mesh well, like I said, because of the pacing and because of the time that they had to work with. So some of the things that I thought that they would flesh out more, they didn't have a chance to, or they just chose not to. But I thought it was pretty standard formula as far as what the movie was trying to get you to understand.
What about you, Dave? How'd you like the plot, bro?
It was about as cookie cutter as they come. Main kind of spelled it out. I mean, they set it up where he has to they try to make him a sympathetic hero automatically from the rip. So everything he does, you see in the early going on, he's trying to help people, trying to do things to help not only other people but himself, and his best friend. And then they went ahead and they just followed the age old script of all right, let's get a villain who does the same exact thing as the hero, and then make them two fight and see who's better at their skills. And it was just such a cookie cutter plot. So right from the rip, when I first saw it, I'm like, okay. But I didn't fail it on that because a lot of MCU movies have to start that way as well. When you're introducing a character to like the world,
that is true.
You have to kind of give like the backstory of what motivates them, what drives them. I just felt like it was a little bit rushed. It was a little bit pushed. And we'll get into that later as we go. It's going to be a running motif with this movie.
Yeah, I feel like that. I agree with you. I mean, that's like a problem in all comic films throughout, as far as like the villain being like the hero. And I don't know. I mean, I guess that took place a lot in the comic books as well. But it's kind of like when you see it visually, live action, it starts to get a little redundant, I guess, at times. But I did feel like it was very simple. And what gets me is that like you had one job, you had years to make this movie. I feel like the plot should have been more intricate. So like at this particular point.
Well, we're gonna get into why that is.
Yeah, but we'll get into it. But, if you notice, people, I was more disappointed than Dave, which is like unlikely with a Sony movie. But I was like terribly disappointed in this movie, man. So
yeah, and I was disappointed as a fan of vampires myself. Like vampires are my thing, so it's like for me from that aspect too, and for what I've seen, Bram Stoker's Dracula and all these other vampire movies.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, now we also bringing vampires and we bringing comics together at the same time.
Like, bro, this wasn't even as good as like Underworld.
Here we go.
Like,
exactly.
What I
And
mean?
I love Underworld. And so I was like, maybe there was some projection there a little bit, but yeah, they messed me up.
I thought that's where they were going with the character's name, Lucian. I'm like, they're gonna try to make him like a werewolf. It's gonna be vampire werewolf. No,
but Lucian was a vampire too, though, in Underworld.
He was.
Yeah, that's true.
He was.
Bro, I'm Underworld fanatic, bro.
Yeah.
Trust me, like Underworld's my shit. All of them.
Yeah.
Honestly, so
okay, maybe we can talk Underworld sometime. Some other point.
Let's do it, bro. Celine is my girl.
Yeah.
Spectra in the comments. I like Morbius. Has some weird plot holes, and credits was all over the place. But I enjoyed it overall. We'll get to those holes.
Spectre's being kind, yeah.
Spectre also said, I don't know if it was just me, but the final battle between Morbius and Milo was kind of anticlimactic. I agree with that, Spectre, as well. And again, you're being kind.
Yes.
So let's talk about some of those characters he's talking about. Let's talk about the main character, Michael Morbius, and his story. And Dave, you can let me know how well this was done from the. I love Matt Smith. Yeah, I agree too. From the comics, but his story, how he becomes a vampire, his overall motivation, his childhood aspect. How'd you feel about Michael Morbius and also Jared Leto's performance, Dave, of the whole thing?
So Michael Morbius did not have like a rare blood disorder. He wasn't as sickly as you see when he like in the comics, but he was coming up with this. He was a doctor. He was trying to help people. He was like a world famous doctor at that. He just decided the age old comic book, I'm going to test it on myself type deal. So that's how he became what he is. As far as Jared Leto's performance of him, I thought it was pretty good. I'm not even going to front. He took like a basic ass story, but he fleshed it out and made the character his own. Like it's one of those characters. He did such a performance. It's one of those characters that if I ever see Morbius again in the MCU, I'll be all right seeing him. Okay. The look was comic accurate. I will give Sony that. The look is very comic accurate. Like I even put while we were doing it, I was with my girl, so I showed her a picture of what Morbius looks like in the comics versus what they had on screen, and it was extremely close. I mean, but it's not hard to do a vampire, so to speak. But yeah, I felt like his performance was good. I'm not even gonna lie.
How did you feel about before I go to main? How did you feel about the power set they gave him in the movie?
It's pretty close to what Morbius does in the comics as well. He has he does have all of those powers. His strength is a little bit stronger than what they showed in this comic, but yeah, it is. He's actually a little bit. He's really fucking strong. And he's really fucking fast too. And he flies. Like he doesn't just glide; he flies.
So he's formidable. So he's a formidable foe for Spider-Man. I guess.
Very formidable foe. That's why they made him an anti-hero, because they couldn't really see Spider-Man beating this guy's ass every day.
Right. He was way too OP.
Yeah,
bro. Who's that? What's the other vampire's name? Not Blade. In the comics. Dave, you might know. I'm talking about. He be with the Cabal and Red Skull sometimes. He what is his name? You'll get it. It'll come later. But yeah, it's another vampire though. He actually does like try to bite the heroes.
I'm
and all that
googling
stuff.
it right now.
Yeah. He be with
Trying to
Is it the
find this out
Cabal?
my damn self.
Yeah, he be with
He's
them.
not a member of the Cabal, is he?
Maybe like not actual member, but like a honorary type of deal. And I think ain't it like Screaming Mimi and all the rest of them? It's a bunch of them people or whatever. Anyway, my fault. There's another vampire though. You know what?
Yeah.
Baron Blood.
Huh? Let's look at Marvel Comics vampires. What do you got?
It could be Hell Cow. Let me see. Baron Blood. Vernay.
Hold on.
Nah.
I'll find it. But anyway,
yeah.
How do you feel about number one? Definitely want to know what you feel about the Morbius's motivation and the story they gave him, and also Jared Leto's performance. How you feel about that?
First off, I want to touch on Jared Leto's performance. Like, a lot. Like for me, I didn't find out about Jared Leto until I heard 30 Seconds to Mars. Let's just start there, right? So I came across him as a singer, as a musician. So that was that. And I saw him transition. I saw his movies and whatnot. The dude is phenomenal. I love his acting, and I love how he is able to, like you said, like I of course it's method acting, right? We can safely say that he method acts, and the way that he portrayed Morbius with his disease and the way he spoke and the way that he just carried himself.
Oh, hold on 1 second.
Was perfect.
It's my fault. So it says it's actually Dracula, like
Black
Dracula.
Oh yeah, I was thinking he's never part of the Cabal.
And you know what's crazy is that it's right. It was the first name, and I just skipped over.
Me
it.
too.
Everybody knows.
I was gonna say Dracula, but I didn't want to sound stupid like not that.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, man.
Yeah. But he's the MCU vampire too that I've seen. But he's like really vampire.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Hang upside down, stake in the heart.
Walk in the sun, get burned up. Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, I think that
he's gonna be the villain, and he's gonna be the villain for Blade. Let you know. Just throwing that
really?
out there. Yeah, Dracula.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that's gonna be interesting. Okay. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
All right,
but yeah, so I felt like he did a really good job of portraying that character, and it was much like Dave was saying, very true to form as far as the comics go, and his move set and everything, his motivations, should I say, were just as convincing to me, right? In these movies, regardless of whether we feel like it's cookie cutter or not, the object of the movie, the goal of the movie is to make you feel something, make you relate or whatever. And I thought that they did a great job of, for me, making me relate to somebody who has a disease, who's trying to move past their past and make a better life for themselves and others because of it, by any means necessary. So I think that his motivations were a great showing of what happens when your intentions may be pure or good, but sometimes you got to do a little bit of bad to make sure you get that reaction, not reaction, but that the cause and effect, the effect of that. Sometimes you got to do some things to make it come to fruition. So I thought that his motivation was really well done and really well portrayed in the movie, and I'm hoping that they do we do get more from him later on.
What, did she stole
man.
Yeah, she came up and grabbed the TV remote when she was like, "All right, peace, bro. I won't bother you anymore. Go ahead."
I'm trying to watch these cartoons, fam.
Right, I'm sitting there trying to talk to her doing this. I'm just like, okay, hold on, wait a minute. Okay, just go ahead, just take it.
Right. She said, "Man, Paw Patrol on, fam. Stop playing with me." Yo, but I agree. I think Jared Leto did a great job actually for what he was given. I thought that he's very talented. He is method. He got the whole thing where he changes his look. He'll gain and lose weight like Christian Bale will do for movies, which I think is also pretty great. So I think he did a good job. I think that as far as the movie, his plot, like you said, it was very simplified. That's why it reminded me of those early 2000s comic movies or late 90s and stuff like that. It was very simple, but it was effective. So it was simple and effective for what they were doing for him. The next character who I actually did enjoy was Matt Smith, who played Milo, which I'll get into my thoughts later. But, man, what did you think of Milo and Matt Smith's performance of Milo there?
Man, Matt Smith is another great person, man. I kind of course, I watched Doctor Who, and also I've seen him as the Doctor, but also as Let's see. What was the other show that he's in? There's a couple things. We're talking about you said Milo, right?
Best friend, yeah.
So yeah, so him, and I also saw him in what's the other show, The Crown. I watched him in
Oh
too.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
man,
he is in The Crown.
Yeah,
Oh, shit,
man. Yeah, loved him in The Crown, man. Great actor. And I thought that his performance as Milo or Lucian, right,
You saw
was
that
very he
I
garnered
saw
a lot
that,
of
and I'm just
sympathy
shaking
for
my
that.
head like, what?
Yeah, he garnered a lot of sympathy because he was the outcast. He was the misfit, much like Morbius, but Morbius had this certain kind of air about him that Lucian didn't. And so you saw him get picked on, you saw him getting into fights, you saw him being pretty much abused. And I think that he did a great job portraying that character. And essentially, right, we'll come to see in the movie later on in the movie, when you get a little taste of power, man, it could go a long way for somebody like Lucian. And I think that they handled that really, really, really well because you see that it's something that happens a lot. The person that gets ignored or whatever, and they get a small taste of acknowledgement or attention or power, go
Go to
straight
their
to your
head.
head. Yep. And they
What
did a
about
good job
you,
with that.
Dave? How you felt about that character, the best friend?
I thought it was a weak setup, to be honest. To have them, they could have easily done this any number of ways. They did get the actor Matt Smith. He did play a pretty good role for this. I can't say he really personified any particular role because this role of Lucian isn't in the comics.
Right.
It's completely made up for this movie. So I can't really say whether he portrayed something well or not. What I can say is, without the vampire stuff, he made a pretty good villain. Without the vampire stuff, his motivations, everything, just the way he acted outside of the vampire fighting scenes. But obviously, they fell victim to that villain problem that everybody says, where they have to match the villain with the hero, give him the exact same thing. One thing I was upset about is that they never show him actually taking the serum.
That's what that's the plot hole
that
number one.
Super bothered me. That I was like, when did he become a vampire?
I didn't even see him steal it. Did y'all?
They tried to give him the Kaiser.
Nothing.
No, I didn't see him steal it. But you remember, he was a sleight of hand guy, right? So remember, the Russians would come in and he plays cards. He's a sleight of hand. So yeah, so I understood him sliding handing it, but then they give him the Kaiser Sose fucking thing where he leaves the can and now he's strutting out. He came in on the can, he's walking out without it. And all these prison guards, nobody noticed that?
Well, first of all, I don't know how he was able to go in somebody's cell and hang out with him. Like, that's some other shit, too. Like, I ain't never seen
that's true.
In a maximum security prison, responding for murder, you ever go in there and hang out? Like,
bro, when I was younger, man, I was crazy. I did 15 days in county, bro. I ain't have no lawyer come to my cell. I had to go visit his ass in the conference room. He ain't come to my fucking say, hey, Dave, what up? How you doing, Dave?
Right.
I'm a lawyer.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, what?
I'm like, what the hell? If you ever wanted to smuggle some shit in, that would be the way to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me open up this cage, dump out this powder coat. There we go. Sell this. Like, so
having a fucking Sunday brunch together, hanging out and shit. Like, hey, what's up, bro? How you been and shit? I ain't never seen that shit like that. But then he just walks the fuck out. And when he walked out, there was no girl with him walking out.
Like, if you ever seen Usual Suspects? I know we all see Usual Suspects. Yeah. Remember Kaiser Sose went in with the can and just dropped it and started walking normal? That's how he did. I'm like,
But the ironic part of that, right?
Like, wait a minute.
So he didn't get checked. Apparently, he didn't get checked well going in.
No.
He didn't have nobody walking out when we left. Nobody noticed he came, but they had somebody standing guard at the door though.
Once you get in here, you have unfettered access to the whole prison. Don't worry about that. No, that was just
That's some crazy shit, bro. Like, what the fuck? First of all, the cane could have fucking had a fucking knife at the bottom of it.
Like, have they not seen Batman? Penguin fits all types of shit in a fucking umbrella.
No, Marvel doesn't watch the competitors. So they don't know what they're doing. They have no idea. It's WWE and AEW.
A fucking cane could be used as a fucking weapon.
Right?
They could have had somebody walk with him on his arm, leave the cane, bro.
And all he had to tell him, was, I'm a lawyer. They ain't even a background check guy.
He ain't got no badge.
They ain't even let's check with the American Bar Association and see if the name comes up. Nothing. He just, I'm a lawyer for him. Okay, let me in the prison. They walk through the yard. Hit some sets before you go in. Like,
Whatever prison
yeah.
that is need to be shut
he
down.
doing them card tricks and shit in jail.
Right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I sleight of hand this cane in here. You see? They didn't even see this shit. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, I was so mad. But I'm not gonna lie, man. I was mad as hell. I was like, how the fuck
Yo,
you
that
hanging out
was
with
that
shit?
the first point? Was that the first point in the movie where you were like, wait a minute?
No, I was waiting.
That
for
was
that.
my first. That was my first. Wait a minute moment. Like,
I was waiting
wait
for
a
that.
minute.
But that got
Man,
me. 'cause-
yeah, that, for me, that was it. I saw that. And
Yeah.
I paused and I was just like,
Wait a minute.
I
Like
think
that
okay.
was.
you know what's crazy? When he got in there talking to him, for some reason it didn't really bother me or it didn't really hit me. But then when he fucking walked out with nobody, I was like, wait, what the fuck? How was he even
Yeah.
chilling and shit like that? Whatever.
But by the way, might I also add he walked out of there with a flask.
Oh yeah, that's true too. Yeah, I was like, I forgot about that part. Yeah.
You're a lawyer. You drinking on a job, bro?
No, they
they
let
had-
you bring.
I-
Oh, fuck
yo,
that. They
that's
let you bring alcohol in the prison on the job. What type of shit is that?
Like,
you
come
never-
on.
Yo, that's
man.
the metal detector must have not been working that day.
He like, hey, bro, how's it going here? You want a drink?
Right.
I'm telling man. Can't even see my client.
The machine was down for maintenance. So it was just going through, bro. It's all good. Don't trip.
I don't
We
even think he
trust
yelled
you.
guard when he left the door and shit. He was like, all right, see you later, bro.
So not only did he smuggle a cane in there, not only did he
Yeah.
smuggle a packet of blood, he
Right.
also smuggled a flask in there. Come
Right.
on, man. Somebody getting fired. Somebody has to
And it's
go.
not it's a maximum security prison that's holding
Maximum.
like somebody for murder and shit like
Somebody
that.
got to go. I'm sorry.
And it's really
Somebody
sad.
gotta
It's really sad that with all the post editing, because this is supposed to come out in 19, or was it 20, right?
2020.
19
yeah.
or 20. It was supposed to come out in 2020. So with 2 years to like sit and rewatch this shit, nobody caught that, yo. It's
Yeah.
just
Well, it's a plot hole, but it's also a plot device, right? To move the story along. And I hate, I don't know about you, man, but I hate plot devices. I really do. I'm like, yo, like, come up with something different because to me it just doesn't make sense, and it got to make sense to me.
there was
like,
a better way they could have did that, bro.
like you'll see, I just watched Ambulance on Friday, and Anthony watched it too before that.
My son said it was great.
And you watched his review, or maybe your son's review, they saying it's great, right? But for me, I'm just like, bro, like when y'all see this, please let me know. Because the first 20 minutes has 45 plot holes that took me out the whole fucking movie. Whatever like that. So this is the background.
Yo, yeah, my son came home like, yo, this is like one of the greatest movies I ever seen. And I'm like,
Yo,
really?
Anthony too. He said it's like the best movie of the year. I don't think nothing gonna top this. I said, what the fuck? That's what he said.
Now wait a minute. To be fair, okay. Now listen. How old is your son, Dave?
21, 22.
Okay,
About to be 22 in
21,
September.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we can. It's safe to say that he could probably say that he ain't been around that
Yes,
long, right? He can say that. That's safe to say. But my man Anthony,
Right.
Anthony,
Yes, exactly.
you like the Incredible Hulk, bro? Okay,
Bro, when y'all watch Ambulance, please put in the chat so we can talk about that movie and shit like that.
that's
But
all love, Ant man. Just that's what you do.
But let's get somebody else take on this movie. Without further ado, the chef himself, Mr. E. Muddy.
Hey.
Late as hell as
Man.
usual.
Hey, bro. Hey, one time for the one time. Let me see that shirt because I think it has my favorite X-Men character of all time on there.
Did he freeze?
Did you freeze?
He
Oh,
won't
come on.
show it to you. He's like, yes.
Right, he's supposed to say, "I never freeze."
Yeah, he froze, yo. He said,
Yo,
"Never."
E, that has to,
Reset.
yeah, that's got to be. That's my favorite. That's my favorite Marvel character in all of Marvel.
Who is that?
Storm.
Oh,
Storm
really?
is dope. to me.
Really? What?
Yeah, I think because of how she's written, how she's portrayed, the stuff that she's done in comics, right? Like she's been
Yeah.
this
No,
sidebar.
she's been a powerhouse. She's been a powerhouse.
Hand-to-hand combat, you know, her life, or where her story is built. She's led the X-Men on several occasions.
She has been a leader. Yes, she has been.
yeah,
She has been.
she's a really dope character. Plus, her.
So do you think
her
she's ever
comics,
been
man.
portrayed yet in live action? Or no?
Nah.
Nah,
They
okay.
haven't done it right yet. Nah, because she's to me, I think that even they talked about it, right? Angela Bassett, it was at one point was gonna be Storm. They had talked about that.
When she was younger, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
Storm.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yo, bro, like, yeah, I love her, man. But
love
yeah,
her
I think
too.
that she's super dope, and just her skill set they don't ever really tap into. Like she
I
could.
think it.
I'm tired
yeah.
of them not tapping into her skill set. That is some hate, and
Yeah, don't
that's
ever do
hate.
that.
That's hate.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
because she's up there with Thor, so that's hate. To me, that's hate.
yeah, man. Yeah, we
Yeah.
not.
Oh,
I don't wanna
whoa,
be
wait,
trapping, you know.
what? Whoa, what? Thor.
What? She's up there with Thor when it comes to electricity.
Omega.
She's Omega. She's a god damn near.
Yeah.
No,
Put it like
she's
this.
no. She's not Omega Mjolnir. I'm not sorry. I'm thinking that like if Thor throws Mjolnir at her, she's dead. I'm sorry. She don't have superhuman durability.
So you don't think winds? You don't think she can move with the winds to get to dodge that?
I love this.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm
gonna put it like this.
A mentally controlled hammer.
She has Black Panther fighting skills. You're forgetting that. You're thinking of Storm like how the cartoon portrays her. She has Black Panther fighting skills.
Bro, I didn't watch the X-Men cartoon. I watched it once when I was a kid. I never really paid much.
All right, so
I'm going from the comics.
And so if you definitely going from the comics, you should definitely know how powerful she is.
I have never seen
her love.
But she can't beat Thor though, bro.
Yeah, she cannot beat Thor, bro.
No, I said she brings. Now, when did I say she could beat Thor? I said she's up there with Thor. She's up there with Thor. Talking about bringing lightning. Of lightning. What are you talking about?
Okay, yeah. Creating lightning. Yeah. All right.
Man, I'm not listening to nobody that told me Morbius was the greatest movie of all time.
Who said that? Nobody.
Yeah, he did. Do you remember what he sent us? Do you remember what this man sent us?
What? Where?
Yes.
Receipt time.
Receipt time.
And I apologize. My whole comment just derailed this entire.
It's all right. You know, but I'm gonna bring it.
No, trust me, man. This is a fucking lie, bro. If you ever seen a lie before, this was it. Well, I'm looking through the chat right now. Where did I send y'all?
They also didn't show Slave for Molly.
Hey, they didn't.
Was this before or after the Moon Knight pod? Before, right?
It was before.
Before, right?
Hey, since you were here, man, what's going on, bro? On this Sunday,
what's going on? Hey, how you doing?
All right, my guy. What's going on with the haircut, man? You falling off, bro? What's going on, man?
Oh. Well, I was trying to do the little curly lip.
Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to do the little curly lip.
Okay. That ain't it right now, but it's bro.
This guy,
I know, right?
That's why I'm gonna tear him up every chance I get.
Yo. So
what's that saying? I said still trying to process and rationalize, but right now it's a 6.5, a weak ass 6.5. No. Greatest movie of all time.
We're talking about that stuff you sent me and Mike. That's what we're talking about. Your credibility lies with that.
Whoa, what did I send you? This is what I said.
Can I get back to the show, fellas?
Yes. Go ahead.
Now hold up. We're gonna have to flesh out this.
I told you. Bro. I told you.
Yo, that is a lie. Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, don't you have anniversary to go to, bro? Your girl ain't gonna be happy.
She'll understand, bro. Fuck that. Course is session. What the fuck did I say? Nah, I ain't never said this movie's greatest of all time. You go ahead with that. Moving on, yo.
All right.
Yeah, we up to Matt. We up to listen. We already got past Morbius. You know, you of course, whatever. But we up to the friend Milo, Matt Smith. Plays Milo.
Yeah, the owner of the prison.
What did you think of the friend? The friendship, his motivation, and also Matt Smith portraying the character. What do you think of all that stuff? So and the chemistry between him and Morbius. That's all I'm saying.
All right, so I like the chemistry between the two, but I felt like the villain had more reasoning, more like Morbius was too happy at certain times to go through what he was going through. When you're injured like that, or when you're going through something medically like different through your body, and you're going through life like that, you're not always going to be like up and happy and making little jokes and stuff like that when you messed up the way you are. So that's why I felt like the way Milo was acting made more sense to me. It was like a right. I needed this. I have to be like this. I need to stop being weak. I need to stop having this, like, falling for this disease. So I felt that way. For me being shot 8 times, bro, I'm telling you, you do not get up and be making jokes about. You don't make jokes about shit like that when you're messed up or hurt and you're going through like physical changes and stuff like that. It's not uppity.
You know what? And I agree with that, but at the same time, I think also and what they showed in the earlier the movie is that there are some people who, right, they like Morbius was not a person who was going to let his disease be an excuse for him. He was, it was not to say that it is an excuse, but he was one of those people where you see the clear differences in how they hold each other, how they carry themselves, right? So Morbius is like, yo, I got this disease, but so what? You know what I mean? And then meanwhile, Milo's like, yo, like, what do you mean, so what? Life is
Right. It's
terrible.
like my life is terrible. Right.
And Morbius just has, he's detached from his situation because of his life prior to that, or whatever the case would be, his upbringing. But they both process their diseases separately. But it's just that Milo was more, I guess you could say he was more hungry, pun intended, for his life to change. He wanted it more. Meanwhile, Morbius was like, you know what, listen, I have this disease. I notice other people are in need. I'm going to dedicate my life to fixing it. So he's removing himself from it and thinking about everybody else. Milo is thinking about himself.
Right.
But Milo, I think, because Milo had it harder too than Morbius did. He wasn't a child prodigy. He wasn't a genius.
He only had money.
Morbius,
That's it.
That's a fair point.
When Morbius left the school, like, you used to see, like, he was getting beat up by the kids at the school and all that stuff like
That's
that.
true.
So
That's true.
I felt like by the time he got to be an adult,
he saw the darker side of reality already.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. And he was more self-serving at that time, where Morbius wasn't.
But you would be. Trust me, when you get hurt like that, you would be.
Yeah,
you
that's
really
fair.
would.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I agree too. And definitely with that, and so we talked about him taking. We talked about him taking the vials. We didn't see that. Milo also talked about him like somehow going to prison and bringing a cane and blood and shit like that.
Yeah, how did he? Yeah,
which is crazy, but that's a whole rabbit hole.
Yeah, some stuff I feel like I don't know what they was thinking, or somebody else put the scene in.
Dave already said he owns the prison, so I mean,
pretty much. That's the only way. He's the owner of the prison.
You're right.
Walk in there, do what he wants. Yeah,
do what he wants. Right.
Let's talk about another character, which was Morbius's assistant doctor / love interest, and how they portrayed her, and then how her ending, and ultimately her becoming a vampire. We can go to that. So let me just go to you, May. How you felt about the whole thing? Her character. How did you think?
I liked how they. I guess you could say. Well, I think I wouldn't say I liked it, but I would say that as far as an introduction to her being his, I guess, confidant or peer or whatever, they didn't really do too much to really just like flesh out anything. She just appeared, and then they started talking, and then that was it, right? And then over time, then you come to find out that she has a greater role to play in the movie. They end up becoming a love interest and all this stuff, which violates many different kinds of codes and such when you're scientists and working together. But I guess it happens, right? I mean, somebody brought in a flask into a prison. So
how about say how many people had work girlfriends?
You know what I'm saying? So so there's that. I mean, it's cool. It needs to be love interest, but for me, watching the cartoons, right, the Spider-Man cartoon, I was like, where's Felicia?
Right, yeah,
Felicia. You know what I mean? Like,
on her. Yeah.
Where is she at? But all that aside, I thought it was pretty cool. As far as her turning into a vampire, it's one of those things, man. I was just like, all right, I thought this movie's over. Is there more? Just more?
I thought it was very predictable, actually. That's about me.
Extremely predictable.
All of that is predictable. It was predictable, and it's just like the way that they portrayed that. It was just like, okay, well, they're working together. Now they're lovers. Now she's his caretaker, and now she's one of them.
Right. You know what bothered me with that? My problem also was the vampire stuff. If you're gonna do when you do the fake vampire stuff, like the scientists made vampires, where the real ones at? I was expecting a real one to come and be like, you're not even pure blood. You know what I mean? Like talking junk and talking down on what Morbius did and caused and what he's spreading. And I mean, they could have had so much.
You're right. Damn, man, he should be a writer out there, man. They could have had that shit or whatever like that. They could have had another vampire, maybe, who was in that cave
pure blood,
they got the bats from. Who was pure blood.
We're gonna have to wait till for Dracula to show up. And then we'll
probably. Sorry, it's an MCU property. That's an MCU property.
Yeah,
buddy.
That is. But I kind of feel like something is going on with MCU and Sony. To combine a little bit.
We will get to that.
Figuring it out?
Shit.
Bro. Dave, how you felt about her and her turn and their
it was ultra predictable. Yeah, anybody who's read Morbius comic books or even Spider-Man comic books, knows Martine Bancroft goes on to become a vampire. She goes on to experiment on herself, give herself full vampire abilities. She almost killed Spider-Man, and then he had to kill her. That's what happened in the comics.
Right.
So
And
as soon
remember,
as
he
I
bit
heard her
Blade.
name, Martine, I was like, oh boy, we're doing the female vampire thing.
Yep.
She wasn't turned by him like they did in the comics. They all experimented on themselves. Yeah, man. I mean, I just saw it coming, and I'm just like, okay. So when she died, there was a little bit of hope. I'm like, okay. They just women in the refrigerated her ass. Okay, that's perfect, right? But then you see her come back, and it's just like, yep, here we go again. Twilight all over again. Twilight, my Sony.
And I'm like, and my thing is, I'm like, yo, he had to have like a full experiment. He had to put the fucking shit in his.
He had to do all that
drink
stuff.
some blood.
Yeah,
he's sitting there like, all I had to do was drink this shit.
And then you see how she, like, to me initially, like, if you on death's door, right? You ain't gonna lick your lip if it got blood on it,
right?
You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna do it either.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Right.
You did.
That little ass drop turned into a whole vampire. What the fuck?
Morbius is sitting there like, bitch, you put me on the table, shot me up and shit.
Right.
So this is why I feel Morbius. Hopefully they do this and have Morbius like get in interaction with Blade and have him bite Blade. So Blade, because I mean, what else?
Blade don't.
Sorry, Sony don't own Blade. Sorry,
right. But I will say though, to your point, Dave,
when he bit Blade, Blade took the powers of what he has. He just didn't have no other bad. Like Blade took the vanishing flying thing. Blade had all that extra stuff.
Got you.
Right
now, he's more powerful than Blade. Right now,
right now,
for sure.
Always.
I mean,
always
as,
been more powerful
as somebody,
than Blade.
No, once he bit Blade, Blade started tearing him up.
Looking from like the point of like, just say for somebody who's not privy to comics, right? You're absolutely right, Dave, with Martine, that character, how they introduced her. That's why I was saying it. Just taking the whole comic aspect aside, out of that. Basically, the way they introduced her, you wouldn't expect her to be like somebody didn't know. You wouldn't expect to be a pivotal character in the comics.
No,
that's what I'm getting at, right? Like they for us, we were like, "Yo, that's Martine." Like, okay, cool. What they gonna do with her? Nope. Co-worker, love interest, and then that's it.
Yeah, starting to get. They used her. They again, a lot of movies do this. They use a female person to die or get fucked up to get the hero mad. Like
she was a plot device.
100%, bro. But they took an actual character and made her a plot device, like an actual character.
But they didn't need to do that.
Then they take a guy they made up and give his ass like, oh, we're gonna make you the main villain. You could have just made her the main villain.
Yep.
No, that would have been here, so. That would have been much more.
Yo, you guys ever watch?
That Milo did good, man.
Milo was great. Listen,
he was great.
I'm talking about him. I'm talking about
him. What he had.
About him. I thought that I thought Milo stole the movie. Actually.
Right, he did.
His lines were great. I thought that his his attitude a lot of times. I thought he was great, honestly, in almost every scene except for, like you said, Dave, the ultimate fight scenes that they had.
Yeah,
but I thought
that fight scene was cheeks.
I thought Milo was actually really, really good. But I tell you who wasn't really good, and that was your boy Tyrese. Something like that.
What was he in there for? He didn't even have
let's talk about that.
Yes, he did. He had it at the end. They left it in like an asshole. You ain't catch it at the end?
No, I ain't catch it.
They did. They left it. They left it. At the end when they're wrapping up the whole story and they're showing what everybody's doing now. He's got the arm. I saw that shit and I'm like Sony.
How many times are we gonna give Sony a pass?
But the arm, the arm was in the trailer and every scene. That's crazy.
It was.
So I'm like, why they take it out?
This is my whole problem right here. When the fuck is Sony gonna learn from the people they work with? I don't understand this. When is Sony gonna learn from the people they work with? When they deal with it.
Well, hold on. Let me take this movie for now. We can just overall Sony in a bit. So,
Maine,
how you felt about the cops? Tyrese and his comic relief.
Comic relief dude. Like, honestly, them as a duo, like there was no like this. They didn't need this shit. They didn't need it.
I agree.
They didn't need it. Like
At all.
why are you here? We could be like watching something that actually matters, like Michael and what he's doing. Why are you here?
Yeah,
Nobody,
I
you
agree.
don't even go here. You know what I mean? Like what? Why are you guys even on the screen right now? You're taking
Yeah.
up precious minutes. The movie's already shorter than what I've seen lately. I've been watching,
Right.
you know, the movie, the Batman, and all these other movies that are 3 hours, 2 hours, Snyder cut. All these movies that are 3 hours. You got an hour and some change, bro. You better make those minutes count. Why are you here?
Right.
But honestly, as much as Tyrese is a great actor, in my opinion, I feel like he was useless in this role. He was literally just a FBI agent.
Literally, that's it.
That
You
was
know what's
it.
bad is that like they misuse him, maybe because like we've seen him as comic relief in like fast movies and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So why make him the serious guy now? It doesn't really work for him. I feel like especially like in a particular role.
Why get a name like that just to have it like that? You
They
take
didn't. They
Tyrese-
literally didn't do anything. They didn't really
Right.
catch anybody and do nothing. So it's like,
When you grab if I grab Tyrese, I'm making Tyrese Sony's Night Thrasher, you know, something like that. Tyrese is gonna be something.
and I'm gonna tell you what bothered me is that part where Morbius and from the hospital flew up the steps and got to the roof. Also, Tyrese made it. I was like, how the fuck he catch him? No way he would have.
Yeah, how did he catch him up there?
It was the arm.
Oh, the arm he never used. Right, yeah. The
I was
robotic
like,
arm.
bro,
It was
flew
the
up the
arm.
fucking thing to the top. You had all those stairs. You saw all those fucking stairs?
Yeah,
How the
bro.
fuck he catch him?
Elevator.
Morbius
Elevator.
flew up through the middle,
Right.
so it makes sense why he flew up there. But how you get up there? You're right. You're right. You know what? I'm mad. I ain't even.
It'd be little stuff for me, man. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm so mad.
It do piss you off.
Yeah, you know that meme of Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at the TV? That was me, bro.
Yep.
When that happened, that was me. What the fuck? What the fuck is that?
Man, that's so funny to me when those moments happen. Like I'm a big thanks to my wife, I'm a big Office like dude, and so like in my mind, every time something like that happens, I just look at the imaginary camera. I just do one of these.
Oh yeah.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you the other part, bro. That got me. So the chick Martine is trying to shake the cops. She runs through this restaurant spot, goes through the back door, hops on the bus, and Morbius already there. How the fuck she knows on that bus?
Hello, stranger.
I'm like, yo, she literally took like 4 different ways and went through the back of the restaurant and then hopped on the bus right away. How the hell he there?
And then Morbius conveniently right behind her.
Yeah.
And then I also feel
Like she didn't even notice it when she sat down. She's like, oh yeah, I've worked with this guy 100 years. Oh yeah, that's fine.
Right. Do y'all feel like they trying to play Jared Leto or something? Like
no.
Like I feel like because he's a good actor. He does do good, good acting, but he's getting like, all right, you got Morbius, brother. You already learned your mistakes from Joker. So you got Morbius now. Morbius is all you. That's you supposed to make that your baby.
Good as Morbius. You didn't think so? You missed that part of the show.
I felt like he missed some hints of Morbius, the way Morbius usually is. So I felt like he was Jared Leto.
Okay, all right.
Like,
oh wow, that's actually big because that to me as a person who likes movies as well, like they say usually, I remember Matthew McConaughey said, if I can watch you and you are not the person, you're not yourself, then you're an actor. So the fact that you said that you saw Jared Leto means that in your eyes he wasn't acting.
That was Jared Leto.
That was just him.
Yep, Jared Leto as a vampire.
Okay.
I really haven't watched Jared Leto like in interviews and stuff like that, so I couldn't really speak to that. I watched it more in the movies than anything.
Right.
But you might have seen him, so you might be right about that stuff and whatnot. So one guy I will say before I move on was misused or underused was the guy who was their mentor, who took them both in when they were kids, helped them out. He actually is a good actor, the old dude, and I thought that he was very
good. He was misused too.
Yeah, I thought that his whole story was like useless in the end when it goes to Milo, and then he takes him out, whatever like that. So I don't know if you guys agree, but I definitely thought he was underused.
Yeah, he was, because especially being the actor he is.
A lot of supporting roles in this movie.
Yeah,
a lot of supporting roles in this movie, man. A lot.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk about. So we talked about that, and I think who was it? Spectre spoke to it in the comments about how he got the initial part with the whole bats, and then bringing them, I guess, to the U.S. to test on them and then figure out how to get the serum. How'd you feel about that whole aspect of how he even got the powers and stuff like that? So.
I didn't mind the power, like how he got the powers, because he was mixing up vials of. I remember it was a blue blood, fake blood, and then he had the green vial of the stuff he made for himself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now did he get extra powers from drinking the red blood, or like that's where I got confused. That it looked like he was
basically vampire. He's like a vampire that needs to feed on blood to live. So he gets that urge, like a dope head gets an urge for crack.
okay.
He gets an urge to drink blood. So that's why he was drinking that plasma, that clear plasma, because it's artificial blood. You see, so it's not like it has to come out of the human body.
Right, but when he drank the red one,
he could drink regular ones. It's the same shit. That's it. It's just the same shit. It's just he didn't have any artificial, so you just drink the regular shit. But he gets more of a bloodlust when you drink regular blood than the artificial one.
Okay.
So
yeah, when he drinks regular, it lasts longer.
Can anybody tell me why? Because I never really figured out. I mean, I get Milo took the serum, and I get that Milo didn't care about the plasma. He was going to say, "I'm going to drink the blood like regular people."
Yeah,
but
regular blood.
So was that the reason why Milo wanted to all of a sudden kill Morbius? Because I felt
it's why Milo was so out of his head though, and so extremely violent. Because
he was drinking red.
When you drink the blood, it feeds your bloodlust.
I get that, but the kill Morbius part, I thought that was like a quick turn for me. Did anybody else feel that way?
Yeah.
Not really, no. Because Morbius, when he literally first became the vampire, the same way Milo did, right? When he was feasting on those dudes' blood, he was an animal. He was fucking these motherfuckers.
Not that part, Dave. Not the feasting for blood, but the fact he actually wanted to kill Morbius. Like he made a whole intricate plot to kill his.
Yeah, no, that is another one I never understood.
I think it's because
I think that was the denial,
betrayal. Yeah, betrayal and denial.
Yeah,
I think it was that. It was his best friend.
He knew Morbius wanted to stop him, and he's not gonna be going back to being regular old Milo.
Right, denying him.
Kill the dude that's trying to kill you.
You took his money. You took this man's money.
Yep.
He paid for everything for you to make this stuff. You took it. It worked for you.
Yep.
You're not showing him
me?
the bad. Yeah, and you're going to deny him. And you're not showing him the bad. You're just denying him.
Yeah.
But once he stole it, I'm like, all right, well, listen, you're a vampire, I'm a vampire, whatever.
But he knew that Morbius at some point was going to stop him.
Yeah, Morbius is going to try to stop him. So
okay.
Yeah, plausible deniability.
It felt like very quick to me, but that's just me.
It did. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Bro, right? This whole movie felt like a rush job, yo.
It was.
Like it was supposed to be a 7-hour movie cut down to an hour and a half.
It did. Okay, I'm not the only one. All right. Well, let's talk about this is a movie we can talk about bad forever. Let's talk about what Dave spoke about earlier. And I'll let Maine take it first. The climactic fight scene or the ending set piece between Morbius and Milo. How'd you feel about that? How it looked, the fight? What would you think about that?
So, I mean, I'm a big on like colors and presentation. And I felt like the use of shadows, the use of darkness, the lights, and how it took place, and the choreography was pretty cool, right? I'm not gonna lie. I just felt like towards the end of the scene, right, where we see him hanging and he's sitting there and he's getting ready to do his bat call or whatever you want to call it. I felt like I felt like when he did that and he fell down and landed in the water or landed on the floor, whatever, I was like, that's it. And then I noticed the tapping of the finger, right? And I'm like, okay, right. Where did the bats come from? That's what I want to know.
Right.
Where did those bats come from at the end?
I guess he called them.
Here's my question, right? Where, like even so, like, are these the same bats that were in the tank? Were these just regular bats that somehow were out in the city and flew down to the sewer? Like, where did these bats come from?
Yeah,
like all that stuff, like just certain things.
They play on. Sense. I think Sony was trying to play on the trope that anywhere there's a dark spot, there's bats. Anywhere there's a shadow in your house, there's a bat hanging.
That makes no sense.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
So it looked cool.
Because bats are really rare as hell to see.
Yeah. They see one at night, you be like, oh, damn, that was a bat.
I saw one bat. I saw one bat in my life. It was my attic when he was little. My father came in there, bagged that shit with a pillowcase and beat it.
See, being from East Trenton,
like, yo.
In East Trenton, we had bats because of Hudson's Park. So
Word?
we had
I
we had
never seen a
bats.
fucking bat, bro.
Yeah, bro, we had bats over there. We had bats at Hetzel's Park, and we had bats.
Oh, you know what?
Flying
I think I
into
saw
school.
a bat once, and they used like a sheet or some shit. I think I saw one, but
But
it's
that's
very
the
rare
point.
either
That's
way.
the point, right?
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
out here, like I've seen a bat like hovering around a light one time, and I thought it was some kind of bird, and I zoomed out on that's
Eating
a bat.
bugs. Yep.
That was the last time I saw a bat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like you've managed to find tons of them by screaming.
He
Now,
do like a bat fucking Kamehameha.
Yeah.
Right. Now I love the
he
fact.
charged everything. He's like, oh.
Right. Look, next episode of Dragon Ball Z, still
Right.
powering up.
I used to hate that too when they did that.
Right.
I used to be
Next
pissed.
episode, still powering up.
Still powering up. For 2
More bats
episodes.
coming in, still doing it.
Right.
And then the next episode, he finally throw a punch, and then that shit cut off.
Right.
But I thought that it was. I didn't really enjoy the fight so much, but I did enjoy the set piece.
Yeah,
I
the
love
graphics
set
and
piece,
stuff.
the graphics and everything. I love that stuff. It's just that the fight scene itself let me down. I didn't enjoy that part, man. I really didn't. Which is interesting because usually they would put both of those two together, right? You can't have one without the other, especially if you're doing a fight scene, right? It plays off of the backdrop and the set piece and vice versa, right? You add to it, it synergizes, and the synergy was not there to me. It just wasn't.
Now the only thing I can say they actually did good was the graphics for a vampire. I love those graphics. I like to see the smoky-ish stuff flying around.
Yeah, that was a dope effect. That was a dope effect they had.
Yeah, I love that. I hope they did that.
Remind me of Nightcrawler.
Right.
A little bit, yeah, from X-Men. Yeah,
It did. And I hope when Blade fight vampires, that's what he's dealing with. I hope he gets. Oh man, I hope they do him correct.
I'm gonna tell you what an issue. Well, I'll let Dave talk first about that last thing. What do you think about that, Dave?
Cheeks. That whole final set piece of cheeks. First off, Morbius did not control bats. I don't know where the fuck they got this idea.
That's new.
But he does not control bats. Okay. Yeah, I thought it was the downfall of the movie. It was a passable comic book. It was a pretty decent passable comic book movie, thanks to Leto and Matt Smith. You know, right. Until they got to that part, and I'm just like, man, Sony. Like Sony will, if the Sony has not stepped in shit, they will take a shit and then step in it themselves.
Yeah. Right? It's
elbow drop.
I mean, I will put that on Sony, but also I feel like that's a problem amongst comic book. It's the sticking the landing. I think a lot of comic book films have a problem sticking the landing. When final set piece stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, whether you think about even one of your favorites, right? Black Panther, that fucking CGI and that train scene still haunts me to this day, right?
Right,
it's like
right. It was terrible.
So it's like a lot of comic, and then I love Shang-Chi, but people hate the fucking dragon, right? It did last set piece, just like that. So it's like so hard to stick the landing.
I feel the way about that too.
Something like that. So
give me that Dragon Ball Z dragon.
I feel like it's hard to stick the landing when they make movies about the hero. You get what I'm saying? If y'all. I feel like they stick the landing when they mix the genres up, like they did with Winter Soldier.
Correct.
And they had that, like, they put the genre with the heroes. Like, I like when they do that. Like, give me a horror genre with some heroes. I can take that. That'd be great for me. Like, that's what they were kind of supposed to do, and they didn't do it. They should have put the horror with Morbius.
And also think, you don't have to always go so big just because of the end. You can still have a great fight scene. Like Shang-Chi, they could have had a straight hand-to-hand combat without the dragon. I'd have been satisfied.
And I'd have been satisfied. Me too.
Yeah.
The Dark Dweller could have came out looking like a monster.
But you know what it is? You know what it was with Shang-Chi? Shang-Chi, they were going for Asian representation. So they felt like they needed to include everything in Asian culture into one movie. I'm like,
we get it.
It was overpacked.
So this one, like we go with this one, it's like they could have had a straight hand-to-hand combat fight, Milo and Morbius.
I would have loved to see that, yo.
Like that would have been great.
Like visceral vampire-ish, the claws and the bite and all that. Man, that would have been fire, man.
Without Maine to having 1,000 bats there, shit like that.
Yeah, the bats. We didn't need the bats.
And the bats were kind of clouding the camera for me, messing me up visually once they got there.
Yeah, because you couldn't see shit.
And by the way, bats don't eat meat. I don't know if anybody
Nah,
knows that or
they
not.
eat
They don't.
berries and
They
shit
don't
and
kill.
bugs.
They eat bugs and eat.
But weren't the
fucking
bats a
leaves and
distraction?
berries.
I think on Milo, so he could stab him. I guess.
Yeah,
When vampire bats attack animals, they have like barbs in their tongue. So when they lick, they're like kind of stabbing little pinpricks, and they're just licking the blood off the surface. They don't eat animals, bro.
I mean,
so
listen.
in the beginning, when they showed that thing down to the bone, I'm like, bats did
listen,
that?
Dave, that sound good, but if I see a bat, I'm out. I don't care what you talking about.
Hey,
I don't fuck with bats
factual.
because of rabies. Yeah, I
That's
don't deal with that.
No,
rabies
I
shit.
agree with you. I agree with you, Mike. I don't fuck with bats either. Like I'm not out. I'm gonna kill that motherfucker. Like I'm out from bees. I'm out from bees and insects, bro. But a bat I can catch. Like bees, I'm out, bro.
Cause I'm out.
If you never seen, if you ever want to see a 350-pound man run a 4 flat 40, put me near some bees, bro. I'm out. I'm out, bro.
Yeah, I don't fuck with bees.
I'm a highly allergic.
I can sit there and sit by bees and all that stuff. Not budging.
You
But
fucking
get me
crazy,
in with
man.
a bat.
You fucking crazy, man. So I'll tell you what, man. We'll form a group, okay? You come over to my house. If I got some bee problems, I come over to your house. You got some bat problems,
bro. I'll walk right past him and just be like, boom, boom, boom. Listen, but I ain't going to your attic.
What, them bees?
Yeah, I ain't going to your attic.
As soon as I hear zzz,
yup.
I'm doing the robot and shit.
So even the fucking bees be like, where'd Dave go? They were just there. Where Dave at?
Yeah, I mean, that's my thing, man. And then like the bats that we saw in this movie, that's just one kind of bat. There's bats that are bigger.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. The fruit bat bigger.
They got a fox bat or some shit.
Yeah, fox. That's the fruit.
And look, and I don't fox with that either.
Yeah, I want to know. I don't want to know what does the fox say. I'm out.
But none of that.
No,
I'm out.
Mm-mm.
All I gotta hear is. I'm gone.
Right.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, anything with a wingspan long like that, I'm good.
I'm out.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm
but
good.
listen, so now we up to the end of the movie.
There it is.
Fucking fruit bat.
That's the fruit bat.
I will punch that
Don't
motherfucker
care.
in his face.
Don't care if he walked up to me and said, "Hey man, we're all good. I'm vegan." Don't care.
Right.
I don't trust you. I think you
punch
lying.
that little
I think
bastard.
you lying.
All I have to do is answer the question. Can you do me a favor? Can you smile? That's why I'm out. Peace. Be cool.
Yo, so we're gonna get to Dave's favorite part, the post-credit scenes now of the movie. So
Man, these motherfuckers, boy.
So, I'm gonna save Dave and E for last, bro. Did you watch the post-credit scenes while you're home or no?
I didn't get a chance to see them.
Oh,
but I want to hear about them. Let me hear.
Okay. Oh, okay. You can be a spectator this time. All right.
Yes, sir.
Who want to go first? E, Dave, which one?
It don't even
I'll go first, man. I'll go first, Sean.
All right. Okay.
I'll piggyback right off you. You right.
You gotta warm up for this.
Hold on, Dave. You got to describe it for Maine who didn't see the post-credit scene.
What up? Say it again.
Describe it for Maine who didn't see the post-credit.
Yeah, because I didn't get a chance to see him. So let fill me in.
All
See,
right.
this shit-
So
Yeah.
Dry you to smoke.
first post-credit scene cuts to a prison where there's a bright light in a cell that just happens to be unoccupied. Okay.
Don't forget the sky.
But the bed is fully made. But the bed is fully made. Okay, whatever. So he goes into the prison and it's Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming. And he says, instead of saying, "Holy shit, what the fuck happened to me?" he says, "I hope the food is good here."
Yo, what the who wrote that? Who wrote it?
And then somehow, I guess again, he's released from prison immediately because there's no Adrian Tooze that committed any crimes in that universe.
But nobody's questioning like, why the fuck he here? They're like, all right, we'll let you out.
Yeah, exactly. They don't even question like how the fuck.
Well, they basically the news basically said we were wondering the jail's still wondering how it
doesn't matter. He don't have a social or fingerprint.
Right,
there.
he don't have
what
nothing.
The fuck?
Hold on. You know what this prison should have had? It must have been the same prison Morbius was in that anybody could just walk into.
Anybody could just walk in
like,
there. Yeah.
The guards are like, God damn it, this is the 12th time this week somebody just snuck into our prison and
I'm telling you
out
right now.
Like
the right villain come from the MCU and go to that universe is done.
So, and by the way, this whole credit scene, after credit scene started with the purple rips in the sky, like
Yo, it had the homecoming.
So they're insinuating that
not
after the homecoming
spell, that Doctor Strange's spell brought Vulture here. So then they what I didn't like about Sony, I'm gonna say this, Sony,
no way home.
Hats off, you put the two credit scenes pretty close together. so I didn't have to stay all the way to the fucking end and
Yeah,
then watch it.
hats off to that.
Hats off to that. Thank you. Okay,
But
so
hold
the
up,
second
this is
scene,
this is the worst.
Yeah, this is the second scene is the worst, bro. Morbius is driving. Now you have the ability to fly on fucking wind current, but okay, you're gonna drive. All right. I don't know. Okay, whatever.
Maybe the
He
wind
had,
wasn't
he had a
blowing.
pretty nice car too. Where the fuck did he get that money from?
Sports car, yeah.
Yeah, he had a sports
Milo.
car. It's pretty
Dead
fucking
Milo.
nice. Ah, yeah.
Yo, hold on. Y'all forget he's still a doctor. He got money.
Right, he got
That's
money.
true. That's true.
That's true.
money.
Okay, that's true. But in his previous condition, he wasn't in no condition to drive a car. The motherfucker could barely walk. But
He
okay,
is
whatever.
now.
He needed to be in the back of one of them vans with the wheelchair. They fucking lower. So anyway, right? He's ripping his sports car, and the GPS leads all the way out to a road. Now, mind you, there's nothing there for the GPS to be like, hey, put this address in. So he's just following like a tracker. He gets there, and who flies out of the sky? But Vulture in his Vulture suit.
Differently made in a way. It was so weird. I mean, it was
The only difference, the eyes are
fire.
red.
No, the only difference is fire was coming out that shit.
Oh yeah, but yo, he makes another Vulture suit, and I don't know how much time was.
Where the time passed? I don't know.
I thought the Tinkerer made that suit.
The Tinkerer did make that suit.
Yeah, right.
So we got a motherfucking we got a garbage man. That's essentially what the fuck you are.
The director said that they were showing that Adrian Toomes does not have to rely on the Tinker to make his shit.
Bro, he's a garbage man.
I know, but they're saying he's more resourceful in that universe that he popped up in.
He's the same guy though.
Right, it's the same guy. So this is what I'm thinking. Somehow, some way, Doctor Strange messed something up real crazy, and this shit is about to be a mess. That's all I can say.
I have two theories for this.
Go ahead, because that Sinister Six theory is
theory number one. Part of a secret deal between Sony and Marvel is that
secret deal.
Part of a secret deal between Sony and Marvel is that once Marvel is done with a villain, they can just toss him in the trash and Sony can pick him up. So they're allowing Sony to eat out of their dumpster. That's number one.
That's smart. That's smart. But
all right, this is the second one, the one I'm hoping for. Please, God, let it be.
First one's not true.
Yeah, the first one's not true. The first one's not true, obviously.
Yeah,
but it could be. Who knows, right? But second one, is that the Doctor Strange that we saw in No Way Home is not the real Doctor Strange. It's some motherfucker acting like Doctor Strange who fucked up the spell, who brought other people like Venom in, and sent other people out like Adrian Toomes.
Bro, the Sorcerer Supreme was there.
Because okay, we don't know that. So far in the Doctor Strange trailer, I've seen like 5 Doctor Stranges.
Oh yeah, variants, yes, but
why could that not be a variant?
Because why would a variant be on the
Now Doctor Strange is super competitive. Why would he just let Wong keep the fucking title of Sorcerer Supreme?
Because he was gone for 5 years. He knows how it works.
He got a photographic memory, bro.
But he's not.
Spell.
He's not Tony Stark, bro.
You make like this is a job, bro.
He's not Tony Stark, though. He's not a douche. He's not going to be sitting up here trying to be the man in the spotlight.
All right, this will be a post show, but it's about this Morbius here. It was all over the place to me. What Dave said about the fact that he's got the Vulture suit without the Tinker, that's only one problem. The other problem is that they made the Vulture suit from the alien tech from the Chitauri.
Yeah,
right.
But this suit was made different. This suit was made different.
It was made different, but it still flies. It still does shit.
Yeah.
But my fault, man. But yeah, hey, cutie.
We cutting up on here.
Come on, Mike.
So anyway, I'm sorry, but anyway, I don't like that. That it doesn't make sense. I think it is a Sinister Six. They're trying to do it, but I don't like how Morbius, who's a good guy in this movie, he's all good in this movie, right? There's no really bad in him. And then when Adrian Toomes showed up, like, hey, you forgot about the lines, Dave. He says, hey, I don't know how I got here, but I think I had something to do with Spider-Man.
The guy that shoots webs transported me to another dimension.
Right.
Get that?
Why?
But the crazy part is
because spiders do that. That's why.
But and this is also where they messed up. Morbius should have been like,
who's Spider-Man?
Spider-Man.
And then he's like,
Spider-Man in that universe.
And then he's like, I think we could do some good.
Right.
Yeah, he definitely said, "I think we could do some good."
And
So are
Morbius
they
is
trying to rip
interesting.
off? Are they trying to rip off Suicide Squad at the same time?
Oh, unless they're trying to say that the universe Morbius lives in, where he transferred to, that Spider-Man is actually killing people. That Spider-Man is actually
Um,
off his rocker. It's
they did have
variants.
that.
It's
Remember,
variants.
remember though, Dave. They did have that murderer on the wall in
Yeah,
the
on the
trailer or something
wall.
like that.
Where? Where? Which one? Did it show up in the movie?
I
Nah, I
know, but
just
I'm
showed him the
saying
trailer. I knew he was gonna say that.
there is a Spider-Man in that universe. They said we
Yeah,
just don't know
yeah.
who it
They're
is.
saying we just don't know who it is. Shoot, for
Yeah.
all we know, it could be Punisher Spider-Man. Just they can play it. They can do
I
it
think
right
they're going
now.
to use me personally. I think they're going to use. They're going to build Craven next. Obviously, Spectre's favorite movie coming out.
My problem with
And,
that, y'all building Craven, and Craven also played Quicksilver,
But yo, you
Yeah,
can't, yo, bro.
yeah.
But
and
Mike,
y'all have somebody
Mike,
from the MCU.
but Mike, tell me how stupid this would be, right? We know that the next MCU movie, Craven's gonna be the guy. So why would Sony go make their own Craven as
wait,
the next guy?
what MCU movie?
The next Spider-Man MCU movie is Craven the Hunter. You
You
ain't,
think
you ain't
so?
hear about this already?
No, I
Yeah,
heard about
bro.
that.
Yeah, I heard
Did
about
you hear
it.
about that, man? I ain't heard
I
about
heard
that.
about it, but I don't think it's
I
gonna.
saw like an article
So
talking
hold
about
on,
it.
Mike. You do know they signed off for 3 more Spider-Man movies for the MCU.
I do know that. Yeah.
So the 4th Spider-Man movie is gonna be him fighting Craven the Hunter.
That would be weird. But unless though, Dave, because remember, Sony's Craven's coming out next year, and they use the same Craven in the MCU. Because they transfer them, back and forth, stuff like that.
That's gonna be ultra weird because I'm gonna be like, "That's Pietro." What is Pietro doing?
Bro, you got fucking Cottonmouth is about to play Blade from Luke Cage.
But Kevin Feige is very strict in saying that universe is connected to this one.
Not anymore. They just said Daredevil was canon on the article.
Daredevil was canon, not Luke
Same
Cage.
universe. What are you talking
Not Luke
about?
Cage.
Wait a second. So Daredevil's canon, right? And they're
Right.
bringing all the other shows over. All of the shows.
I
On
thought
Disney
Kevin
Plus.
Feige. I thought Kevin
They
Feige
not-
walked
they
that
not
back.
canon
Yo.
now?
Right.
Hold up. Hold up.
And Black Mariah was already in what was she in? She was in
Iron Man.
Civil War. She was in Civil War. Yeah.
Civil War. There you go. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I love Black Mariah, by the way. So yeah. Anyway, while Dave looking it up, Maine, why don't you rate this movie for me for what you saw?
That's a no.
I'm gonna give this a 6, man. As much as I love the movie, I like vampires.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 6. A
Six,
lot of issues for me, but I mean, it wasn't completely booty, so it wasn't Green Lantern.
So I want to say
tell
this,
Nate that.
right?
My brother Nate that.
Ooh, oh yeah.
You see, I sent you the picture when I had the white shoes.
Hi,
on.
Nate.
Nate.
What's going on, Nate? They be ripping your movie, man. Hey yo, so this is what I'm gonna say, right? My girl, she doesn't know anything about comics, and I made sure not to tell her anything about Morbius before we went there. Right? She rated it a 7. I got a 6.5.
Okay.
So I think that's really where this movie truly sits, is in that.
Not bad. That's not bad, actually.
Really, because like she doesn't know anything about the comics. She loves vampires. That's the only thing. She doesn't know anything about the comics, but she gave it a 7. I gave it a 6.5, and I gave it a 6.5 because there was missing shit in the comics. Like they made Simon Stroud without his fucking cybernetic arm and created a whole fake new villain when they had a real new villain who was better than that fake new villain right there, working with Morbius. But that's why I gave it a 6.5. So that's my rating.
Why does that bother you? Dave?
Because when you're given like Sony, when you're given like this rich comic material, like that Morbius story where Martine Bancroft almost killed Spider-Man, that was one of the best Morbius stories out and best Spider-Man period stories out. Now she had to be fighting Spider-Man, but she was a true foe for Morbius. She gave him work, to create a whole new character. It's like you don't feel like that connection to the villain.
So in all comic films, if the character is new, that bothers you? Just asking.
Yeah, but you know what? Here's the thing. I don't know many comic films that use a new villain.
Okay.
Like, yeah, most of them have a villain who relates back, and you're like, yeah, that's what that villain would do.
Or if they change them, or if they
no, they can change them. I understand that. I understand artistic vision. I understand the directors want their portrayal of this villain, how they want it to be in the movie. I can live with that. I can live with all that. I can't live with some new rando walking in off the street like I'm a villain now. and you literally have the real villain right there. Like you see, like she's gonna be the villain for the next Morbius movie.
Right.
Right. So I mean, you literally have the great villain right there. You could have just went with that because that would have been a much better movie to me, honestly. And it would have pulled people
He
in
just
feelings.
called me
Think
twice.
about the fight that Morbius has to have in his head. That he's got to fight somebody he really cares about.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? He's got to fight somebody he loves. That would have been a much more emotional ordeal rather than just beat up cookie cutter villain. Like,
Or
I don't know, that's what it felt
see,
like.
that's you. Me, I would want Morbius to fight Blade. That would be my movie.
That would be the ultimate thing, yeah, but
That would be a great.
What would you rate this movie?
Yeah.
I'm gonna rate this with. I'm gonna rate it with a. I'm between like a 6 and a 7. Why? Because I really did it.
6.5? Like they
6.5, right? Because I enjoyed the graphics. I enjoyed the graphics, but I didn't like the story like that. But the graphics were good to me. And this is the reason I'm so hard on Jared Leto about this is because I watched him do good as the Joker in the Snyderverse cut. Now, that shit gave me chills hearing how he was talking to Batman in that compared to how he acted in the Suicide Squad, compared to how he even acted in this. If he can put that, like I feel like it might not be the actor, it might be the directors. Because how does Zack Snyder get him to get that
There
deep?
we go.
You feel me? Yeah, because how does Zack Snyder get him to do that deep in that little shortcut of Batman talking to Joker? That was crazy. That was crazy. There's no way. I dare Dave to say something about that scene.
I think what it comes down to, right, is just that it's sometimes we get on the actors about the choices that they make, but we have to talk about the people who are telling them to act a certain way in that scene, right?
Right.
So Snyder told Leto what your motivations are. This is what's happening. This is what you're feeling. Now bring that out. For all Leto got on this scene and this was like, oh yeah, you a vampire and you trying to do some shit. All right, action. You know what I mean?
And you know what? And that's probably just how it was too. That's the sad part.
Do vampire shit. Vampire
Exactly. All right, you ready? Action. That's it. That's
Just how we do that shit. Action.
Do some vampire shit. Run for some garlic.
You seen Lost Boys, right? You seen Lost Boys? Yeah, good vampire movie. Do that.
Do that. All right.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna go with. So I said 4.5 in the chat, in all my chats, and I got a call about that from Jazz actually. He was like, "Man, you get 4.5? Why you get 4.5?"
Oh shit, Jazz talking about that.
Yeah, well, I saw him with Jazz. We were together. We went that night.
Okay.
Yeah, we go all the time, me and him. So he was like, he's like, man, I thought you liked.
Is he
like,
outside? He must want you to come to the car then.
So someone, my barber actually. So so 4.5. So I'm probably up to a 5 right now. So I'm the lowest on this panel.
It was really that bad for you?
I said this. I don't know where I said this at. I don't know if I said it in the chat or not. I think I did though. But I think it reminded me of like a TNT movie.
You did. You were like, it reminded me of like one of these like made for TV movies. Yeah.
But not TV. TNT specifically, like something like that. Whatever. Like where it's like
Joe
I could have
Bob
watched this like. I don't know. It just didn't feel like
oh my god,
like a sci-fi network.
It was an AMC original.
Okay, so I'm a theater guy, right? I go to the movies a lot, right? So for me, I have a distinct difference between what's good in theaters than what's good at home. So if I watch a movie made for theaters that I felt should have been for home, it takes it down for me.
I got you.
It didn't feel like this could have been like if this was a streaming day and date, but let's say if it was just streaming, it probably would have been higher for me. Oh, that's a good little stream.
But that's my problem. Why are people hating? Like, why are we letting the movies tear up the streaming services when we need them? We need them for movies like this.
I agree. We definitely do, because something like this, it would have been a cool night. Like Main's watched it at the crib, right? So Main, you probably would have, if you'd have walked out the theater, you probably would have felt worse than watching it at the crib. I'm pretty sure. I guarantee you.
I guarantee you, I would have.
Yeah, you would have spent money. You would have spent money. That's why.
You spent $30, damn near $30-$40 on everybody there. Then damn near $30-$40 on food.
Yeah. It's all that, but it's also the time, and it's it's supposed to be like going to a movie is still an event for me, right? So I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah,
that
very much so,
event
very much so.
was wasted. So it kind of goes down for me in that regard. And I feel like I said, I could have watched it at the crib or something like that. So for me, it's a 5. Lots of plot holes, lots of plot devices. Have y'all ever followed the pitch meeting, dude? Screen Rant?
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Yo,
Have you seen
yeah.
Have you seen the Morbius one?
No, not yet.
No.
Bro,
I'll watch it.
I'm about to watch that shit right after we get off, yo.
Why would we get off?
Okay.
I didn't know they already had it out, yo. That's why
They
usually
do,
it's like
yo.
usually it's like a week or so that goes by.
It's been out, bro. Listen,
I pulled it up right
watch
now.
that shit and comment in the chat. Let me know what y'all think about it.
Oh my god! I'm sure they
Why?
destroy this movie.
Yeah, why I gave it what I gave it. So I'm gonna go with a 5. You know, that's our final verdict on that.
Man,
Yeah,
could have been so much better, man.
I agree with Edith a lot. I still like Leto as Morbius. I still think they can use him in certain other aspects, so they can definitely keep him and move forward with that. But they can maybe learn from it, I guess. I don't know, man. So anyway, thank you guys for coming on as always. We'll be back with this same crew on Thursday, 8 p.m. to talk about Moon Knight episode 3. We're up to
3, yeah.
episode 3. So I'm excited about that. Me and Ish be here later today to talk about Power, which was good last night.
Yes, it
Something
was.
like that. And then we'll continue to get ready for Doctor Strange in about 3 or 4 weeks or so.
I can't wait for that shit. Ooh,
Yo, E, we talked about it, man. You are coming down, right? Because
Yeah.
Dave gonna come.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah, I'm coming. I'm coming for sure, yo.
Yeah. All right. We in there.
I'll bring the logging truck if you know what I mean.
So Dave, did you want to you want to go early so we can go out afterwards, something like that, or
huh? Yeah. Come down early, E.
Yeah, all right.
down,
We'll come down. I'm gonna come down the day before.
No. Okay, word. Yeah. Word.
Okay, all right, yeah. So we're gonna do like an earlier show. We're gonna go get together after. Man, I wish you were here, bro. Like,
Me
bro.
too, man.
Yeah,
I'm trying to hang out and be on location where Dave
What's up,
at.
man? Fly out, man. JetBlue, $50. Let's go, baby.
Right.
JetBlue, baby. JetBlue, $50. You might make it here alive.
I want to sit next to Dave and do a video next to the Icon shoe. That's what I'm trying to do.
The fucking fiscal costume outside.
I think that was Kasha when that damn storm started last year.
Hey, Kasha was like, "Hey, bro, you get too comfortable. You get too familiar, bro."
Window
I need to see what
Yo,
he
he was angry with me that
You
night.
hear that lightning? I be rain.
You see the difference between day and night, right? When it's day, he's quiet. When it's night, man, he's violent, bro.
But anyway, thank you all. Thanks, Spectre, for all the comments, man. Always like, comment, and
we still live.
And yeah. Anyway, we're about to not be, man. We'll see you guys on Thursday, man.
Later, brothers. Peace out. Peace.
Jeez. Man.